Before every class, this teacher hands a student a jar and has him tap it every 15 seconds. See, he's made a bet with these kids who never pay attention. If they can stay quiet for a set amount of time, he'll chug a whole carton of milk in one go. The students dying to see their teacher drink till he pukes suddenly become more united than ever. Whenever someone can't help but act up, the other students immediately shut them down. As time ticks by, the milk on the desk keeps disappearing, but the board keeps filling up with knowledge. What the students don't even realize is that they've actually sat through an entire lesson. Some are even raising their hands to answer questions. It was this very teacher who took a class full of dead last underachievers and turned them into the top class in the whole school. But just when things were going great for him, he got fired for refusing to support the principal's tuition hike, even though the parents begged him to stay. But the bureaucracy doesn't care about the people. He was forced to head to New York City to find a new job, but reality hit him hard once again. Big city schools had no interest in a teacher from the countryside. Determined to get back to the career he loved, he picked up odd jobs while continuing his search. But starting over in a new city isn't easy, and he quickly realizes he has his work cut out for him. One day, on his way to an interview, Clark spots a student getting into it with a teacher. He rushes over to break it up, and the situation only calms down when the principal shows up. The teacher, fed up with the difficult students, quits on the spot.
You can have the little bastards. I can start right now.
After seeing Clark's impressive teaching record, the principal offers him the school's best honors class. But Clark's eyes drift to the unsupervised class across the hall, where students are doing whatever they please, without a care in the world. Everything about them screams trouble. To the principal's complete shock, Clark chooses that nightmare of a class instead, even when the principal warns him that these kids have already driven away 6 teachers. Clark doesn't budge, because he truly believes that every so-called lost cause is just a kid who's been neglected and left to gather dust. But Clark's confidence doesn't exactly bring him good luck. On the very first day of class, the students give him a brutal welcome.
Shamika, don't do that.
Shamika is the biggest troublemaker in the class, with her stirring things up. The classroom goes right back to its usual chaos. After school, the classroom looks like a total dump. The absolute state of the room is a huge slap in the face. It's completely trashed, proving just how little they respect him. Even the janitor keeps shaking his head at him, like he's saying you're in way over your head. After Clark finally cleans everything up, he finds his car covered in graffiti, courtesy of his students. But years of teaching experience tell him that behind every troubled kid, there's always a story no one knows. So Clark goes door to door visiting each family, and sure enough, every household has its own struggles. He discovers that some students are barely 12, yet already taking care of 3 younger siblings at home. Some parents clearly favor sons over daughters.
I like to read, especially when
Quiet ladki. Men are talking, okay?
And some kids live under the constant shadow of a harsh father. Clark comes to a deep realization. The reason these kids refuse to learn is inseparable from the families they come from. After all, parents are a child's first teachers. To start turning things around, Clark prepares a surprise for them. He paints the classroom walls in brand new colors. His way of showing the students, this is how you're supposed to use paint. But the kids don't appreciate it. Even the principal thinks he's being ridiculous and chews him out right in front of the students.
My school, my rules, my way.
This strips away whatever little authority Clark had left. Shamika doesn't spare him an ounce of respect either. She's hanging out with her friends just fine, but the moment she sees Clark coming, she drags her girls away in disgust. The constant disrespect is starting to get to him. When lunchtime rolls around, his students stampede toward the cafeteria like wild horses, a stark contrast to the orderly honors class next door. These deeply ingrained bad habits clearly won't be easy to break. A fellow teacher shoots him a look that says, "Just give up already." But Clark isn't the type to just walk away. He decides to double down and take control. He immediately sets up a list of rules for the class. Rule 1, we are a family. Rule 2, we respect each other. Rule 3, we line up properly before and after class. But students, used to total freedom, have zero interest in his boring rules. The second the bell rings, they bolt for the door, only to find that Clark has already shut the door. Left with no choice, the students reluctantly form a line, but the moment Clark looks away, Shamika sneaks her way to the front. When Clark catches her cutting in line, he stops the whole line. He tells them, without rules, there's only chaos. Since we're a family, when one person breaks the rules, we all deal with the consequences together, under the pressure of everyone's stares. Shamika backs down for the first time, and grudgingly goes back to the end of the line. Clark sees this as a huge step forward, feeling like things are finally moving in the right direction, until he walks into school the following Monday full of hope, only to find his classroom completely destroyed. The kids trashed the place over the weekend out of pure spite. The wreckage everywhere is a giant middle finger to his rules. The blackboard is covered in vile insults aimed at him. Clark feels the sting of defeat deep in his bones. And despite doing something this awful, not a single student owns up to it. The homework he repeatedly assigned last week, not one person bothered to do it. Shamika smugly turns around to whisper to her friend. That level of disrespect is the final straw for Clark.
Look at me. What do I want to do?
go to hell.
His sudden outburst freezes the room. Everyone is stunned by this side of him they've never seen. Even Clark himself is caught completely off guard. Defeated, he grabs his jacket and rushes out of the school. This is the first time in all his years of teaching that Clark has ever thought about giving up. He confides in a friend, saying he's always been the kind of teacher who believes in gentle guidance. Yet a bunch of elementary schoolers pushed him to lose control. He starts questioning whether his kindness even matters. Maybe not every student is worth saving, but his friend tells him, you can't let a few setbacks make him forget why he became a teacher in the first place. He just needs to change up his strategy to actually reach these kids on their level. Those words hit Clark like a lightning bolt. He pulls aside the kid in class who loves games the most, puts a little something on the line and plays cards with him, meeting the kid on his own turf. This way the student doesn't get defensive, and Clark sneaks in math practice through the betting.
What number multiplied by itself gives you 36?
6?
That's good.
This proves to him that none of these kids are hopeless. He just has to find the right way to connect with them. During recess, he keeps the momentum going, asking Shamika to teach him how to jump rope. But what looks simple turns out to be anything but. After falling down again and again, he shows his students through action that failing is just part of the learning process. But the principal isn't a fan of his methods. He calls Clark into his office and scolds him for not acting like a proper teacher. The honors class is right there for the taking. But no, he'd rather goof around with the worst kids in school. It's a bad look for the school, and it's distracting students who actually want to learn. But Clark refuses to back down. He makes the principal a bet. By the end of year exam in 6 months, every single one of his students will pass, no exceptions.
I don't see how this is possible.
Back in the classroom, Clark tells the kids about this seemingly impossible challenge. He tells them, being looked down on is like standing in the dark. But when you're in the dark, it's up to you to become your own light. If you want to fight for your own future, come up here and light a candle. Everything changes when you stop giving up on yourself. In that moment, every single one of them truly believes that Mr. Clark is going to make a miracle happen. History class is too dry and boring, so he stays up all night, turning the material into rap lyrics, teaching them through music, and completely blowing away the boredom of history class. The students quickly get into his groove. Every single one of them is fully locked in. Even the honors class next door is jealous of how he teaches. On top of that, he gives up his own free time to tutor the weakest student in the class one-on-one, and his hard work doesn't go to waste. On the monthly grade-wide test, 90% of his students score an A+, a teacher who never gave up and students who stepped up. Together, they earned something truly worth celebrating. But of course, a new problem quickly emerges. Shamika may have been the class troublemaker, but she's also the most gifted student. Lately, though, she's stopped turning in homework again. When Clark goes to her home to check in, he finally learns the real reason. After school, Shamika has to watch her 3 little brothers while her mom's away at work. For a 12-year-old kid, staying on top of schoolwork is basically impossible. So Clark rolls up his sleeves and helps with the chores himself, giving Shamika the chance to finish her homework. He even makes dinner for the family. But when Shamika's mom comes home, she takes his kindness as an insult.
You don't think I can take care of my family, Mr. Clark?
The mom storms into the principal's office, accusing Clark's unauthorized tutoring of keeping her daughter from babysitting. She's working multiple jobs just to survive. To her, big dreams are a luxury they can't afford, so she doesn't see the point in her daughter trying so hard. She threatens the principal, either fire Clark or she's pulling her daughter out of the school.
Please don't fire Mr. Clark. He was just trying to help me, Mama. He was just trying to help.
It's okay.
Please don't leave because of me, Mr. Clark.
Seeing the genuine change in Shamika only strengthens Clark's resolve. He assures her mother again and again that Shamika has real potential. Education might not magically fix all their problems, but throwing it away guarantees nothing will ever change.
Maybe Mrs. Benton can keep the boys a little longer every day.
Okay.
As Clark keeps showing up day after day without fail, the students' respect for him grows steadily. One of them even gives him a beautifully drawn piece of street art.
Who let you do this?
Morning, Mr. Clark.
You like it, Mr. Clark?
It's really good. You got quite a talent for this.
But the real artist behind that painting is someone else entirely. His name is Tayshawn, the quietest and most withdrawn kid in the class. Tayshawn angrily confronts the classmate who stole his credit, but is met with nothing but dismissal. For a kid who keeps everything locked inside, finally working up the courage to put himself out there, only to have someone rip it all away, is absolutely devastating. All he wanted was a single word of praise from Mr. Clark. But fighting is something the school absolutely won't tolerate. The other boy's mother comes to the school to complain. Even Tayshawn's own father thinks his son should be sent to juvenile hall. Thankfully, Clark fights hard enough to keep that from happening. The class's grades keep climbing every day, but the constant stress and exhaustion are starting to take a serious toll on Clark's health, with the final exam less than a month away. He can't just abandon his students. After pushing himself past his limits time and again, Clark finally collapses. At first, the students think he's joking around again, but when he doesn't get up, real panic sets in, watching the ambulance take their teacher away. They all press against the window, unable to look away. After all this time together, they've come to see Clark as family. Fortunately, the doctor says it's just pneumonia, not contagious, but he still needs 2 weeks of rest at home, not wanting to fall behind on lessons. Clark has a friend help him record video lessons and asks the principal to supervise the class. What the principal sees in that classroom stuns him. These once uncontrollable hellraisers are actually sitting quietly in their seats and paying attention. Even the principal starts to believe in them just a little. 2 weeks later, Clark finally recovers. The class has decorated the room to welcome him back, but he's not in a celebratory mood. In fact, he's furious. The exam is only 2 weeks away, and a bunch of students' grades have tanked. He knows he's already taught them everything they need. The knowledge is already in their heads. It's just that years of being labeled failures have left them too afraid to face the challenge ahead. He tells them, even the students who start out the furthest behind can catch up if they actually put in the work, no matter how slow you are. With enough effort, you can change who you are. Clark's words put their minds at ease. But on the day of the exam, there's a little hiccup. On his way to school, Clark spots Tayshawn with some bad influences from outside school. They're trying to get Tayshawn to skip the test and hang with them. The old Tayshawn would have said yes in a heartbeat, but when he sees the look of hope in Clark's eyes, his mind is made up.
That way.
When the exam begins, thanks to Clark's encouragement, the students are nothing like the scared kids they used to be. Their eyes are full of determination and confidence. Meanwhile, it's Clark who's pacing anxiously in the hallway, like a father waiting outside the delivery room. When the test is finally over, and the students walk out with smiles on their faces, the weight on his chest finally lifts. While waiting for the results, Clark treats the whole class to a show on Broadway. A little relaxation after all that pressure is the sweetest feeling in the world. Everyone's face is beaming with joy, and the most excited of them all is the quiet Tayshawn. But on the day of the show, everyone arrives with their parents as promised, except Tayshawn, who is nowhere to be found. Clark immediately senses something is wrong. He rushes to Tayshawn's home, pushes open the half-closed door, and sure enough, the place is wrecked. That's when a stunning piece of graffiti on the wall catches Clark's eye. The figure on the wall is taking off its mask, and Clark instantly understands. This is Tayshawn saying goodbye to who he used to be. It also hits him that the street art from before was actually from Tayshawn. After a long and desperate search, Clark finally finds Tayshawn huddled near a pile of trash, thrown out by his furious father. Clark wraps his arms around him tight, giving him the only warmth and comfort in the cold, and tells him it's all over now. For Tayshawn's safety, Clark places him temporarily in the principal's home. The usually tough-as-nails principal shows a rare gentle side. He promises Clark he'll take good care of the boy. On the last day of the school year, Clark holds an award ceremony. A science award for the kid with a knack for science, a math award for the one who's great with numbers, an art award for the one with artistic talent. Sure, these certificates are handmade and don't hold any official weight, but they spark real confidence by showing each kid their own strengths. Just then, the principal walks in carrying the test results.
These are probably not the scores you expect. This class, this 6th grade class, tested higher than any other class. You even tested higher than the honors class.
After 6 months of giving it everything they had, the worst class in all of New York actually pulled off a miracle. This class was written off as a lost cause. They were told they would never amount to anything, but Mr. Clark refused to believe that. He saw the potential in them when no one else did. He showed up at their homes, learned their struggles, and proved that he actually cared about their futures. It just goes to show how much of an impact one dedicated teacher can have on a student's life. These kids just needed someone to give them a chance. Now they're heading to the best middle schools in the city, completely changing the trajectory of their lives. This is based on the true story of Ron Clark, a teacher who actually made a difference in the real world. What do you think about Mr. Clark's teaching methods? Would you have survived in his classroom? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And don't forget to like and follow for more recaps.
You come